Guess I should really do this now. I'm on 40 out of 40, so I'm going to make it clear and centered with this whole idea of consciousness, really, and understanding. Because I'm not too tired right now, so I think I can. Clearly I've been thinking about Martha and everything. And, maybe it's because I looked at those poems that she wrote, and it really got to me. Not so much that she wrote them, more that it came out of something. And it seems like it did. It seems like genuinely she wrote those for a reason. Genuinely, And I can't really hold that against her, But then again, it looked like, it really did look like she was on her last leg with men. As anyone could call it. Anyone can really figure that out. That wasn't something special. But, she was. To me, obviously, she was very special because I spent time talking to her. And then I made myself go into this total lie combination so that I couldn't have to deal with it. So I didn't have to deal with it. I made things easy on me. I destroyed the concept from the beginning so I wouldn't have to worry about the other ideas coming out through it. So instead of destroying my own identity and that's it, I didn't stop there. I created my whole atmosphere around everything else. So I could have handled things not differently, but with almost like a bouncing ball effect, There's this movie called Sting of Death. And it has this weird creature in it. I like it because it's just a guy in this suit, in this water suit, and then he has this big bulging ball around his head, like one of those plastic balls that just around his head pretty much, so you could see his face behind that. It's hard to see; it's not clear. And then he has all these strings, tentacle type things hanging down from his suit and everything. Great costume, and that's how I kind of feel. I kind of feel like that kind of suit, because it's supposed to be something scary in its essence, but it's still created around a human. So there's still something human about it, even if it's not completely made for a human. It's supposedly just a creature, and everything there is like the human feature, is the living features of the thing, rather than them all being dead and just the human being the only real thing in it, which wouldn't be that scary really then. But that's the whole connection with everything. With Rena, with Mary, with Shane, with Martha, and Sandy. Okay, I guess I should have learned my lesson in 2006 and kind of just stopped there, but I didn't. And that was because I didn't really take in stride everything. Come on. I was, I thought, okay, the friendship's over, no one's going to come back and try to rock any ship or anything. I felt like, the connection's kind of dying right there. And that's fair. I think it's a fair thing. I don't think it's unfair to say that when Sandy ended with me the first time, that was it. I felt like, okay, that's it. She's not going to come back again. And if she does, obviously I'm not going to handle it correctly. And I did not. I didn't feel that way about it. I thought like, okay, maybe I could handle it differently. But literally, when it happened, I was like, this is very comfortable. Because it felt like, the kind of thing, it just came back again out of nowhere. That's how it felt. It felt like the connection through me and her was gone. And all I felt was, the kind of friendship that maybe shouldn't exist. I don't know. It kind of felt that way. It kind of felt like the friendship didn't mean much. Maybe it did. Maybe it meant, more to her. But I don't think it did because she wouldn't have got upset that I sent that message. Even if she had a fiancé that may have read the message. That to me still doesn't regard anything of what I said. Because what I personally said was, I just wanted to apologize for saying all that. As a joke or whatever, if you were trying to hit on me or do something back then, and I didn't handle it correctly, I'm just apologizing for back then. I'm not saying I'm trying to get involved with you, I'm just apologizing for back then. And that's it. I'm leaving it in there. The thing is, I apologize for things that people think it's an automatic refraction to what's happening now. That's not the case. Apologies can be strictly for the past. And it could stay in the past. In fact, it's supposed to be like the gooey, Play-Doh. It's supposed to be like something like that. You kind of have the event, and it's like in a Play-Doh form in your head. That's how it works. Well, the thing is, an apology is supposed to be like that too. It's not supposed to reflect on how you're feeling now about somebody. I think that's the most ridiculous thing. Take it from where you ended. Take it from where you officially ended with a person. Not anything that happened around it. Not anything like blogs or anything else, but the actual last time you saw that person and how it personally ended. I'm going to have to suspend this friendship because I realized that it had to end at that point, And maybe I handled it the wrong way, but to be honest, I may sound kind of jittery with it, but to be honest, it's because I wish I had known how I am now back then. Oh, yeah, I wish, but it wasn't that easy to understand that and grasp it all. But now I do, and, sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's not, But I'm probably not the best person to hang out with now, because I have different views about everything. But if you consider yourself lucky to look at somebody for not what they think, but for who they are, you might not have any problems with the people. But right here, you're sounding like you already do, If you don't like that I personally don't trust things that you trust, that's your regard, okay? You have your regard for things, just like I do. And if you think I'm a worse person because of it and don't, I don't want that person to be alive in this atmosphere because he creates something else around me that makes me sort of go, ugh. I can express myself freely. That's why I'm here. So that you can hear me express freely. I mean, if you really don't like it that much, you obviously have a great splinter of ideas coming from splinters everywhere. And splinters meaning everybody else. You don't have to spend time with me. You could go in a black dress anywhere you want. That's the identity. The clause of a fraction of a second can only come within your aspect. You can't expect to get it from me. And you can't expect me to grow like a glory hound up to the strawberry fields. I'm not going to do that. The thing is, everybody thinks you have to live your suspended life. Try to live it. Try to live your life. No. I'm going to live it. I'm going to bastardize everything else around me to make it possible. I'm not going to say try anymore. Trying is an impossibility at this point. Because if you try means I'll lie. That's pretty much when somebody says, I'll try. Or try. If they try to tell you something. Like if they say, try to live your life. I'll try means I'll lie. Bam. And they're lying to you because they want you to live your life. But they're lying to you right there. That's the personal aspect of the vegetative state that I've seen, the dissolving of a fraction of too many ideas that come within your flowery grave. And they come from that. The atmosphere of crowing dogs, malfraction practices that don't come within your grade level. You're in line for your doctor. Nah, not me. Even though I have healthcare insurance again, June 1st style. Destruction within your atmosphere makes it go down in the queeriness of everything else. Be querulous of everything and question it all. But you don't have to. I'll do the questioning. You can do the sitting by and accepting. And make sure, as parenting skills go, I'll be definitely honest. This is my personal view and it's going to stick to this. Is that if I ask a question of people that are in charge, they shouldn't say, get him out of here. They should leave you there. Because pretty much to me, somebody in charge has to grovel to my feet. They don't grovel. I don't grovel to their feet. They grovel to mine. That's how it works. Or that's how it's supposed to work. Because if it doesn't work that way, then they shouldn't be in charge of a business. Or in charge of the country. To me, especially in charge of the country, politics-wise, even though everybody's a politician, a 5-year-old would probably be a better president than any president. I'm not labeling one or the other. All of them are the same. Scapegoats, pedestrians, motorcycles. That's all they are. They're nothing special. I see them everywhere. Boom, 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 boom. So, if you think this is a racist rant, you're fucking wrong. I hate them all. No dreary dream of a sense of schemes, because the same thing that people died for, they died. When they died, what they died for died too. Because it was taken away at that point. Hey, I mean, a lot of people say JFK, great guy, he did a lot. Yeah, he did a lot. But it was all taken away when he died. So it didn't matter. It's just like any of those people during that whole time period. that, a lot of people subjugate as martyrs. But, martyrs actually, they don't, real people that influence people, you don't just call them martyrs and that's all you do with them. Because that's what people do. People just call them martyrs, but they don't take their license for life. Instead, they let the government decide, well, we should create a Green Party to take care of that. The distiller of fame should come from an incountable accuracy of facts that we have to create for you. Guess what? None of those people ever needed an accountable sense of facts from the government. They created their own. They created their own lonesome, dark atmosphere without anybody else around them. But now we have to be the baby cottages that come within the specter of senses that come within the, feeding your kid broccoli, pretty much. You give them the things to look for. Let's say I tell somebody, hey, you should look at this website, you should look at this information, you should read this book. But then, they don't want to do that. Nope. You gotta feed them the broccoli. Like a kid. This is good for you. Well, guess what happens? The distiller comes within the facts and the maker comes within the bronchial tube. Tubes don't make anything go down in centuries. But that's the whole atmosphere of this society now. Because martyrs are only left in that gaze. Especially. Oh man, it becomes a test tube. It's not even a test tube baby. Nothing gets born out of it. It just becomes a test tube that's just sitting there with the people that we consecrate as martyrs. And then that's the end of them. Nothing else. All of a sudden, all those things that they created are gone. Because, of course, the one thing we fear is getting killed. Oh my God, of course, death. Every string of sense of perspiring tension comes within that invention of thought. Because they were killed for thinking that way. So we can't think that way anymore. Oh no, we can't wear those undershirts anymore. We can't think that way anymore because, see, they were killed for it. So we'll respect them, we'll call them martyrs, and then we'll leave them alone. We won't use their ideas, and if we do use their ideas, we have to get acceptance from government, and we have to make an accountable thought of convictions of ideas, Democrat, Republican, so on and so forth. We have to create a system for them because we can't do it on our own. We can't do it on our own anymore. And we put down the people and patronize the ones that do it on their own because if they do it on their own, they're not doing it on their own. No, they're liars. No. They didn't get their original ideas from themselves. They got it from just one guy who's just crazy over here. They never got it on their own. They never created their own. They're in their fantasy world. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. And that's what creates from it. The code of consecration of rosaries that come within your aspect and break you in the balls because insects don't create you either. And there you go. The destruction of thought comes within your own process of mind because all of a sudden the kindly gesture is we have to take accountability within our facts to make itself go into and everybody has to agree with it. The string has to go connected with everything else around us. Somehow all those people that we call martyrs never needed that. None of them did. They all created their own atmosphere and created their own life. How much of a baby generation do we have? You think we haven't become more babies? Bam, you're a wrong society to fuck with. Because we become more babies within a centralized thought than can ever be thought of before. And we all put down the baby boomers. They're nothing. They're nothing compared. They're like a flower compared to the rust. Pretty much. I'm not saying anything about anybody though within this aspect because obviously the one thing that will always be used against people in general is possibly, being labeled things. Very easy thing to do now. Oh yeah, very easy to do. Because if you have sarcasm and cynicism and if you have all these jokes, Colbert, Stewart, Penn and Teller, if you have those kind of things that tell you this is the bullshit that you shouldn't trust, well, of course they can put down those same things too. And you'll believe them. And instead, you'll become that patronizing fool. The criticism, the aspects, the fame. Because the thing is, with fame comes conjecture. Comes idolization. Not idolization in the normal sense you would think of. Because, see, idolization, there's no idols in the sense of trusting things. And there's no idols in the sense of martyrs. Because if you really idolize someone who was a martyr, you wouldn't use a different way of doing it. You would use the exact same way those people did it. Exactly. If you went into, really show a connection to them. You would use the same means and the same effort, and you would start from the beginning. You wouldn't want to use something that was created after the aficionado died, because you would want to create a new one, because you don't know if that one can be trusted. It was created after this person died. Why would they even correctly make his life any better? Martin Luther King Jr. is a great example. He was hated throughout his career. He had 2-minute snippets maybe on air, and then after that, killed. And then all of a sudden after, wow, all these things were created. That to me brings into question those environments. I'm not talking about, this doesn't do with black or white or anything. This has to do with trust. And within those aspects, there's just a conundrum of, coming together in this whole warm sector. So the whole warm sector is the only protection now. Because all of a sudden, you don't have any brown cows to look for anymore. You don't have any brown cows to look for anymore. Because you don't want to look for those brown cows anymore. You don't want to face the features of things on your own. But see, all those people did. The people that you call martyrs, they did it on their own. They didn't start within the aspects of another person's ark. Noah's ark, he created it. I mean, okay, it doesn't necessarily have to say he created it, but I'm just getting to the bare fact. We have to create our things on our own, without any connection to the dissolvent past behind us, or the dissolved sense of what reality was in that aspect, and trying to recreate it, and saying this is the new recreation of it that we've created, so it can be trusted more, so it can be meshed into what we are. No, it can't be trusted that way. That's why we become a foul creature like Critters, or what other ones are you talking about? I mean, all these weird creature films. I mean, that's what it comes from. The original aspects of life don't just come into your floor and create you. But I mean, that's the thing. That's the identity of life, is that we create, scapegoating with that. And that's why it's so easy to just put people down now. Because you could just put somebody down for pretty much anything. And it's an easy thing to do because you call everything bullshit. So, it's easy to just say, oh, bullshit. And there you go. Identity destroyed. Boom. But it doesn't necessarily always work. Actually, the easiest thing to do is to discredit the discreditor. But you have to do it on an individual basis. In fact, there are many things that I've done on an individual basis with my friend Patrick, for example, who's not my friend anymore. Pretty much because I'm into conspiracies and I don't trust the government. Pretty much that's the only reason he doesn't want to be my friend anymore. I asked him why it was, and he said, that's pretty much it. I said, okay, that doesn't make too much sense. And, if that's how you're going to treat it, that's fine. That's up to you. That's your decision. I'm not going to interfere with your decision on that. But I am just saying that to me is pretty much bullshit right there. Just like you're saying my stuff is bullshit, that's fine. You can call my stuff bullshit all you want. But I have my right to my view. That's why I'm in fucking America. That's why I don't trust the government, because I am in America. That's why that's why we left the other country, because we didn't trust the government. And that's the exact reason why you shouldn't trust the new government that was created within this society, because it was just taken from the old one. Granted, they wanted to start without taxes, but that didn't last. They looked at the amendment and said, oh wait, they didn't say it directly right. And then they gave us taxes. The one thing they really wanted to throw away, they actually fought to get it back in. And they actually said, well, no, it doesn't say we can't. So they actually made it legal when it's actually illegal to do. So there you go. And that's why personally I don't trust them. But hey, if you throw your life away, if you want to throw your life away on, being hurt by things, because, eventually it'll come back to what the original process of things was. In the 1200s, for example. Let's just think about that. Christians were burned at the stake. The one people that are represented for now. I'm not saying anything about only religious people. This has nothing to do with religious people anymore. Religious people are almost dead. And the ones that are not are considered new Nazis. They're considered Nazis now. Because if you're an individual aspect thinking about certain things, you're a Nazi at that point. Because you cannot have a connection to something anymore. If you do, there's a problem. Put them away. So take care of your life and try to stay connected to things and try to fight for what you're connected to, whether it's emotional, spiritual, or anything else. Because if you don't, you're gonna fuck up your life. But hooray, if you do fuck up your life because of that, if you do trust everybody within the context of your government, and you'll let go of your spiritual life, your emotional life, your connections to everything else around you, besides the government, good fucking life you have to live. You won't have any other connection. You'll be the coldest person on earth. But it's okay. You got a lot of company. The misanthropes and apathies, the misanthropes and the apathetic will be grateful. But of course, eventually, it'll become a car-driven society, and you'll throw yourself around in a pond. So take care of yourself.